It's actually pretty good, but what we're doing, we're interchanging the lineups a lot, trying to see who works well together. And it's really going to be about chemistry over talent, if I can say that, in the starting lineup. It might not be our best five as far as talent, but it's going to be the best team chemistry in that starting five.
In terms of the rotation, I guess, how big of an evaluation point is Sunday's game going to be for you all?
I think from the standpoint of execution on offense, what we've been really working on, our defensive principles in our shell defense, it's going to be one of those games where we're going to really be judging really hard because we challenge the guys to be able to carry over what we teach. And we've been talking about it every day. We've been watching film every day. So we're going to see who's retained what we've taught and then be able to apply it when the game starts.
Are you going in with expectations, or are you just kind of like read and react? Since it's an exhibition.
I think it's going to be more read and react. I don't think the expectations are going to be, and it's not because it's not a regular season game. It's because, I don't really have the expectations right now with a lot of the freshmen playing. I just want to see how they're going to respond to the teaching.
So when you look at the rotation Sunday, will you be able to see this is what it's going to look like, or are you figuring out what it's going to look like?
I think I'm still figuring it out. I don't think we've gotten to the point of figuring out exactly which lineup works the best yet because we just started really thinking about a lineup yesterday, and it's going to change today. So, it's just going to be we're going to use the preseason to work on that.
Given the roster is so deep, is it a concern? How are you going to distribute the minutes to 12, 14 guys?
It's going to be the top 9, 10 guys. I mean, that's the way this is going to work now. We don't have time to be playing around. The top 10 guys, 9, 10 guys are going to play. The guys that we see that are able to, for a large majority of the game, be effective in the things that we're trying to do. And the guys that aren't are just going to have to keep working until they get there.
Will you do a game-to-game basis, or do you feel like once you get we get into the season, you'll know that rotation?
I hope when we get into the season, before the season, because it really starts soon, that we'll have a rotation of what we really want. You can kind of tell in practice who's looking really sharp and who's attentive and who's understanding what we're trying to do on both ends of the ball. And it's simple. Like, again, it might not be the most talented. It might be the guy that understands his role and stars in his role and is going to make this team click by doing all the little things.
Even with your tempo, 9 to 10 is going to be enough to do what you want to do, unless you're going to change your style up defensively for 40 minutes?
Well, we'll see. We've been pushing the guys really hard on tempo. We have not put the press in yet, but we're going to start doing that today. That's going to tire them out, and I'll see how the rotation goes. If we have to do 12, I'm not afraid to do 12 for that style, the games that we're really pressing hard and guys are just fatigued. But for the most part, I think that 10 can handle that.
Do you expect to have everybody available on Sunday?
Yes, I am expecting to have everybody on Sunday.
Hey, Penny, how important is it to you, because you played with a lot of HBCUs, not this year, but years past, and more so at the end of the year. How important is it for you to have that on your resume?
It's very important because, first of all, I love the HBCUs. I love what they stand for. I have a lot of friends and family that have gone to the HBCUs. Still have friends that coach a lot of the HBCUs, and I know that that game means a lot, not only to us but to them. And I enjoy every game that we play, but it is a special place in my heart for those teams because most of those guys are my friends.
Turnover is something that you're emphasizing, or something that you're doing deliberately? How do you do turnover?
That's a good question. I don't think you ever want to live with them. I think if you can have the next play mentality, if you get a turnover, just forget it and get back on D. But you don't want to lead the conference in turnovers anymore. I think it just comes from guys trying to do too much. And I think we're simplifying it this year with the offense, and the turnovers have been way down in practice, which is a good sign because it lets us know that we've adjusted properly, and the guys that are from last year have adjusted properly as well.
In a couple weeks since pro days, Josh Minor as the guy starting to get some NBA buzz. When a player kind of goes off the radar and he's ended up on these mock drafts, I'm guessing that makes you feel like these pro days are a big success, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you do that to get the guys the publicity the exposure that they deserve. And if they go out there and show well, then you put yourself in a position to be seen by a lot of guys. And Josh Minor was a guy that probably had question marks, and then if they didn't have question marks, they didn't know him. And by seeing his athleticism and his willingness to do whatever it takes to win, very unselfish on both ends of the floor, I guess that bodes well with the scouts because that's what they want on the next level.
What was your reaction to last jump at the one?
Josh is, I don't know, he surprises me, the things that he can do. Because, I never saw Josh live. We recruited him through Zoom, kind of, you know what I mean? And obviously you saw some video, but it did him no justice when he finally got here and I saw his athleticism. So seeing him every day, I wasn't shocked, but to see he's really quiet. So to see the things that he tried in the dunk contest I was happy to see that because I was kind of trying to pump him up all day.
Where will he, what role do you see for him? Is he going to be like a big guard or is he going to be somebody you use?
He's going to be all over. Big guard, small forward, power forward. He's a guy that has to learn 2 or 3 different positions. And I know that's tough for a freshman, but that's his talent level.
Hey, Penny, other than the big two and the Josh return, who stood out so far in the teaching with him?
I think really Jaden. Jaden has done an excellent job, and he's my son, but I've been really hard on him to do well. He's come in, and I think unanimously the staff and the players would say he's most improved and a guy that's willing to show that he's ready. That's first and foremost. And then after that, John Camden has really been doing really well. Jonathan Lawson just being a basketball player. And, of course, Josh, he's a guy that's showing the athleticism on both ends of the floor. I think in some ways, at 17, man, it was a lot more pressure on him than it was on me. I mean, I was highly touted, but as far as the game, he's more of a Kevin Durant style player, but he does do certain things like I did. But just, 2 17-year-olds that were playing at the height of our games. And, but yeah, there's in some cases for sure. He has a high IQ. He's a guy that understands the games. He makes adjustments. He's very coachable, and he just wants to win. So in similarities in that case, then, we both just wanted to do whatever it took for us to win.
We didn't play last season. We got a new coach. I guess how you guys been approaching preparing for Lamar on Sunday?
Well, we know that they have Vonzie Wells as a head coach and Coach Lionel Hollis as an assistant, so that's pretty major. I think that's awesome as well. Obviously I know both guys, and we know that team is going to be well prepared. Well, they're not as deep as we are and most talented, but they're going to compete and they're going to execute. So it's going to give us a great test on, for the very first game for sure. Not playing against one another, but playing against someone else.
Hey, Jalen Durham's been compared to Joey Dorsey. He always has a body that Joey has as a senior. So you think he can exceed this, not his talent level, because he's come in highly rated. You think he can achieve the success that he had while he played Memphis?
Joey was awesome. I'm a huge Joey Dorsey fan, but Jalen is like he kind of is able to do more offensively for us than Joey was asked to do. Joey just was catching lobs, finishing dunks, and playing great defense and rebounding and being the enforcer. Jalen would be all of that for us, but he could pull out to 3-point range and shoot threes. That's something that Cal never allowed Joey to do. But for us, Jalen, he probably won't shoot many, but he has the ability to do that. And he's an unbelievable passer. We'll put the ball in his hands a lot where he has to make decisions, and he's been making great decisions as a freshman. So I think that everybody will see his overall game. But that's a great comparison to him and Joey because both those guys are they're enforcers on both ends.
Do you have an idea today of what percentage of Emoni's minutes are going to be at the one and how that's going to shake out?
I can't say. In the beginning, I would have said a majority of his minutes was going to be at the one. But here lately, he's kind of been drifting more over to the two, like playing some one, doing both, which I think is good for him to get to know the college system early, and then maybe later he'll want to play at the one more. But I think for him to be the most effective, we need him to do both. So it might be split or a little more at the 2. But he's going to start, with the ball in his hands probably. Oh, Alo, Earl Timberlake, guys that can really handle the ball, that are very unselfish, that can make everyone else better. Yeah, those guys are going to be the guys that are going to be asked to handle the ball as well.
What are your expectations for Alo this year? He's been coaching for decades. What's sort of their syndrome?
I think for me, for Alo, is the leadership role of understanding everything that we're trying to do on both sides of the ball every day and holding other guys accountable for understanding the same thing. The more guys that we have on the same page, the better we're going to be. And to me, that's Alex's job because he's been here. He's been with me for 10 years. So he knows what we want, what we need. He knows the temperament of guys. He kind of has a great feel for that, and he's a distributor. I need him to be an assist guy and shoot as many open shots as you can. Just don't try to create a lot. Get off the ball earlier. And I know this sounds weird, but he understands what I mean by that. He just has to make the game simple this year and then knock down and then shoot as many open shots as he gets. And then defensively, I'm not worried about him at all.
Is John one of the better shooters on the team? And can you see him playing a Claxton-type role to come in and shoot the three?
It's so weird this year out of all years, man. This is the best shooting team I've seen in a while. Like with Landers, Tyler, Lester, Jaden, John, to just say. And then you have DeAndre, who shot 46% from behind the line. Josh might not can shoot them, but really good shooters. John is up there with those guys for sure. And he is someone that if we want to stretch the defense out and get that spacing, that he would need to be accounted for on the floor. And he's showing it every day.